Varghese, please walk us through the latest that you have picked up with regards to the big statements coming in. Of course, the world leaders also reacting to this incident.
Well, what we have, the latest right now is that information is coming in that according to an Iranian news media outlet called Jamran Agency, sounds of explosions are still being heard in Tehran, which means the operations seem to be still continuing in Tehran. Tehran, in fact, has been the most targeted city, but there are also reports coming in that Tabriz in Iran has also been targeted. There have been several sites that are spread across Iran that have been targeted in this operations, while the Israelis have said that this is the first stage of their operation against Iran. So this is also something that is concerning, which means to say that there could be further operations that have been carried out. Meanwhile, as you rightly pointed out, the US has in fact taken up measures in the region. The US has said that the embassy in Baghdad is now preparing for evacuations as fast as possible. US Navy's Bahrain base, which commands the 5th Fleet, has been placed on heightened alert. The US has also ordered the evacuation of essential stuff, and also there is an advisory by the UKMTO, which is given an advice to the ships, especially to the trading ports. It is a heavy ship traffic area that we are looking at, especially when it comes to the Straits of Hormuz, as well as the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. You see a lot of shipping activity in those regions, and therefore there is fear that some of the shipping activity could be targeted, and it could be one of the immediate response to that is to paralyze global trade as fast as possible, and that is one of the options that the Iranians could have. So this could be one of the reasons why you have the trading, the advisory that has already been given. But as we speak, we understand that this is a very concerted effort on the part of Israel to wipe out the leadership that was looking for the nuclear option for Iran. And we have seen the chief of staff the Iranian military has been killed in this, is what the Iranian state media has also reported. And also we have the IRGC leadership also being targeted in this. We are also getting reports that the nuclear scientists have also been targeted in this. So there have been several strikes at residential areas within the neighborhood of Tehran, which housed nuclear scientists, is what we understand. Therefore, they have become targets as we in fact speak. Now, meanwhile, there is caution that is there across world capitals, because we don't know what kind of an escalation we are looking at, whether it can be an escalation ladder that can be contained, because Israel has said that the operations are still on and only the first stage of it is over. So we don't know what more stages are there. The aim is to cripple Iran from going ahead and having a nuclear bomb. Now, what we understand is Netanyahu has said that at least Iran has enough of enriched uranium for at least 9 atomic weapons, and these are based on the uranium design, and therefore they have been pursuing for those uranium designs as well. Meanwhile, we have also information coming in that Natanz, the key area where we have the Iranians actually having the centrifuges to go ahead and purifying and bringing uranium to a purity of at least 60%. And this is where the concerns have been raised with the recent IAEA inspections being denied, that Israel wondered whether the purity levels have in fact jumped, whether the Iranians were looking at weapons grade uranium at 90% purity. So that is, Natanz is the facility where they would in fact have that kind of purity levels that can be there for uranium. And also around 14,000 centrifuges, these are centrifuges that are used for purification of uranium, are located in that facility. Now, this facility is kind of underground. It is embedded within a mountain, but there have been strikes there, is what we understand. Covert operations are also underway. The main target being is to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. This has been the main objective of Israel. Also, complementary to this, we have seen how Iran's ballistic missiles had targeted Israel, and therefore Iran is known to have a very good ballistic missile capability, and therefore they have decided to strike those production units within Iran that have been manufacturing these ballistic missiles, and they have targeted those facilities as well in these strikes. So it is a multi-pronged approach on the part of Israel. It's an air war that they have gone with. They have gone with a covert operation also, and they've targeted significant portions of Iranian military infrastructure, and the effort is to cripple them from ensuring that there is an enriched uranium bomb that can be put on a ballistic missile and fired at Israel. This capability is what has been targeted in these strikes.
Varghese, I would also want you to please re-highlight, the activities that we have picked up from Arab at the moment and how exactly there is going to be now a shift in the key alliances.
Well, what we know is that if you look at in terms of Iran going ahead and trying to, in fact, be one of those shadow forces within the Middle East, it has been at the anger of the larger Arab states who have been Sunni when it comes to their definition. We do know there's this shadow wars or these proxy wars that have been going on between Iran and the Sunni states. We have one that's already going on in Yemen between the Houthis and the Arab states-backed forces. So that has been going on. The shadow war has been going on. But now, with Israel going ahead and attacking and creating an escalation factor, the Arab states within that region are caught in the middle. They too have in their interest to ensure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because they would be seeing it not as an Islamic nuclear bomb. They would be in fact looking for seeing it as a Shia nuclear bomb. So it would be something on those geopolitical lines where the Arab states would have felt threatened. So they had been giving tacit support to Israel's action on Iran to a large extent. That is to stop the nuclear weapons from falling into the hands of its military. But as of now, it looks like the Arab states are going to get caught in this, and everyone's eyes will be on how Iran is going to respond, because you are talking about its top military leadership being wiped out, and therefore a response would be warranted from the polity there and also from the regime to send out a message. But how they're going to respond is the question of how this escalation ladder is going to go up further.
Absolutely. So a regional alliance shift is also, expected in this particular situation. Varghese, I would request you to please stay on with us. Defense and strategic expert, retired Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni is also joining us on the broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking to News9. Your initial comments on the escalating situation in the Middle East.
Thank you very much. I think extremely difficult times ahead. No denying the fact. Of course, the Americans kept warning. The fact that they pulled out from the council at all the Americans, and the fact that the Israelis have attacked, and I understand the Iranian television has accepted the death of their top general, so things are not going to be easy. However, I think Iran understands very well that the support to them either from Russia or China seems very difficult, because at this crucial juncture they can't. Much that the Americans have said that it is unilateral action by Israel. Well, it can't be taken only with a pinch of salt, because this has all the backing of the Americans, because Israelis on their own will never or cannot attack Iran on its own strength, because this could have just spiraled out of control. So the Americans know, and the Israelis also know, and that they have a certain limit. They can't cross that particular red line. Iranians, obviously, the very fact that after Iran has turned totally radicalized, the IAEA has also been able to convey that, yes, the threshold has passed. It's no longer the peaceful use of nuclear energy that the Iranians seek to claim. In any case, whether it's peaceful or otherwise, it's just a turn of one screw. From peace can it turn into war. So Iran does hold, and there is no denying the fact, but the fact remains Iran has attacked Israel. The Israelis have attacked Iran. The Iran retaliation can be expected, because Israel has obviously warned its citizens, and I think the situation might just go out of control, or the Americans might just step in to be able to control it in a manner almost throttling the Iranians that should you do anything, you had it. And therefore, let's see how the Iranians understand, because Iranians support to Iran at this point of time from anybody, from the Arab League or from Russia or from China, well, definitely doubtful. So Iran is on its own. Can Iran take the world on its own? Very difficult. So the best way right now is to seek peace and be able to not let it go up the escalation ladder. Iran will not sit back, but a little bit of here and there, but definitely to prevent the escalation ladder from going up. Otherwise, things are going to be very, very difficult, not just for the Middle East, but the entire world. Yeah.
But they are very well equipped, Lieutenant General Kulkarni, if we have to speak about Iran as well. So what kind of retaliation can be expected from their side? Because let's face it, the retaliation is going to be there. But what kind of retaliation is the question?
Last time we saw what it was, about 1,000 odd missiles fired from Iran, almost 99% neutralized by Israel. At this point of time, obviously, there's going to be a total pure that whatever the inputs that are coming and the video footages that we're getting from Iran, there's total chaos in Tehran and in and around Tehran. So if you are striking the very heart of Iran, and that's Tehran, then you know what it really means. Obviously, the leadership in Iran is extremely old. So I don't know whether they will be able to take the right decision. And with the top leadership also being hit hard, the Iranian scientists being hit. So I understand again from Israel that a lot of them have died. So in a situation like this, it's so much better that peace prevails because, as I said, Iran on its own cannot destroy Israel. So that's impossible. Destruction of Israel is impossible because they are not going fighting Israel. They are going to fight the might of America. And the might of America, I think probably the Americans may be also instigating the Iranians, forcing them to talk that, come on, talk, otherwise, and close down your nuclear thing, or else face the music. So Iranians know what can Iran retaliate with. Even right now, even before the Iranians can fire their missiles, most of it will be destroyed. No leadership, no communication jam, all the satellites gone. What can Iran do at this point of time other than seeking support? That support, Iran will not get it from nowhere. Neither does the Middle East trust Iran, nor can the Chinese help Iran at this point of time because they themselves wouldn't want to get into it. The Russians are unable to do so right now. So what is it that Iran is left with other than peace, at least to begin with? Well, you might say humiliation or whatever it is. It is better survival is more important for Iran at this point of time. And if Iran wants to survive well and be seen as a whole civilization having survived and still continues to survive, I think that would be a better thing to do rather than getting involved, opening up with whatever little missiles it has. Of course, they can strike Israel. It isn't that they can't strike Israel, but Israel's Iron Dome, Israel's full protection, they know exactly what Iran can do. The Americans are there. So with that kind of support, and Saudis don't see eye to eye with Iran. Neither do the Sunnis don't see eye to eye much that the Iranians have Hamas and Hezbollah and Houthis and all over. But despite all that, the leadership between Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, I think Iran's lost the battle, and I don't think Iran should endeavor to getting nuclear to regain leadership of the Muslim world. I think that seems a little difficult at this point of time.